Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we are going to be doing some more longer-term technical analysis on Bitcoin, and in today's video, we are going to be discussing something that you probably don't want to hear, but normally in market analysis, the thing that you don't want to hear happens to be the thing that you most need to hear, and in this video, I'm going to be explaining to you why the next 12 months on Bitcoin may not be as bullish as many people in this industry are leading you to believe. As you guys have heard me say in many videos over the past couple of months, I do believe that Bitcoin is in a bull market. I do believe that Bitcoin will return to all-time high in the next 12 to 24 months, but unlike many people in this space that are predicting a return to all-time high and much farther beyond in just the next year, I'm being more conservative on my predictions than pretty much every other analyst you're hearing. And in this video, I'm going to be laying out why exactly that is, because there is a curveball coming to cryptocurrency, and it's not that this curveball is unexpected. Everyone else in economics, everyone in the stock market, everybody who understands the way the markets actually function see this coming, but the people in crypto don't. So I'm going to be shining a light on exactly what I'm talking about in today's video because you guys need to understand what's going on not only in crypto, not only in stocks, not only in real estate, not only on the geopolitical landscape. You need to understand the overarching story of the coronavirus economic downturn. And we're going to be discussing all of that in today's video. Before we dive on into it, guys, I do want to mention one thing, and that would be the beloved sponsor of this channel. That would, of course, be our own Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. As you guys know, CT2A is the one-stop shop for learning everything you need to know about charting and doing technical analysis on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency markets. If you guys want to get started working in the markets, you need a strong foundation understanding how to use the tool that is TA. And if you want to learn how to do so, I highly encourage you checking us out at the link in the description down below. You can join our thousands of students. And on screen right now, I'm going to have Taylor throw up 3 different screenshots from 3 different commenters in yesterday's video talking about how much they love the Academy and how much value they're getting out of it. You can see those right around here. Anyway, guys, with all that said, without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. A wise man once said, when in doubt, zoom out. And that's what we're going to be doing in today's video, because when you're looking too close at the cryptocurrency markets, it's very, very tempting and easy to think, okay, well, this one pattern is going to play out this one way because in 70% of chances, in 70% of scenarios, this is how this plays out. This is how this works. Bitcoin has X, Y, and Z technical indicator on its side, so Bitcoin must break to the upside. And while I'm obviously not disparaging technical analysis, it's one of the most important tools that you will ever learn to use in trading Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. It does have its limitations, and it is, in fact, relatively short-sighted. That's why on much longer-term positions, you don't look at technical analysis to see where Bitcoin's going to be 10 years from now. You look at the fundamentals. So let's zoom out a little bit and discuss said fundamentals. To preface, it is undeniable that Bitcoin is in a bull market. It is undeniable that Bitcoin is setting higher highs and higher lows. It is simply not within the realm of question that Bitcoin looks very bullish and is in a very healthy position. But it is also simply irresponsible to not take into account what is happening in all of the other global markets that we'll be discussing in today's video. Now, you might be wondering, Jeb, Bitcoin is the biggest source of counterculture technological interest, in a weird way of putting that we have had in a very long time. And you might also say that that innovation, the counterculture feeling that you have in the cryptocurrency space, where everybody is striving, 1, to make a lot of money, so there's a very strong entrepreneurial spirit, which is good for any industry, and 2, a very strong urge to actually improve and innovate and help people, which is another very important thing for industries. You might say, Jeb, that is driving this metric. I'll link this report in the description down below. This is what is known as a market value report. These discuss the size of an industry based on how much money they generate, and they also look at the growth factor of an industry based on something called the CAGR, the continual average growth rate. This report says the blockchain technology industry, which was, of course, founded by Bitcoin, was valued at $1,590 million or $1.6 billion in 2008 and is expected to grow at 70% year over year for the next 6 years, from where it currently stands of $3.84 billion in market size to a revenue forecast of $58 billion by the middle of the decade. There's no doubt that the blockchain industry is growing very, very quickly. And like I said, you may think that the blockchain industry is growing so fast because of the 2 things I said earlier. The level of entrepreneurial spirit in the space and the level of innovation and new age thinking that we might have and we might say that we have in this industry. And then from there, you might derive that since the blockchain industry is growing so fast and is set to increase by over an order of magnitude in annual revenue in the next 5 years, not 10, 5 years, that we should be expecting Bitcoin to explode. And I actually agree with you. However, We also need to keep in mind that the growth of Bitcoin is not tied to the blockchain industry because the blockchain industry is not tied to Bitcoin. The point I'm making in all of this is that there are very bullish fundamentals on Bitcoin, and they will help Bitcoin. But we can't look at bullish fundamentals such as a 15x in the size of the blockchain technology sector in the next 5 years and say that is why Bitcoin is going to go to the moon. Because at the end of the day, in my opinion, and ask me in the comments or tell me in the comment section down below if you'd like me to, I think the main value of gold moving forward is going to be on the digital gold side, not on the payment side. Now, hold on, before you burn me at the stake, because I know half of you want to right now. I do think that Bitcoin is going to get mass adopted, and I do think that people are going to be using it sometimes for payments. But I also think it's going to be a very long time or never that it completely replaces fiat currency. I do think that there's a good reason for it to replace fiat currency, but whether or not that is actually going to happen is yet to be determined. What I do believe, however, that Bitcoin is going to be very, very highly valued because of is because of the concept outlined as digital gold. You see, one of the markets that I showed you earlier was the gold market. Gold is trading at about $1,900 an ounce right now and is sitting at all-time high, above all-time high. We just set a new all-time high. And as we've talked about in previous videos, gold, a commodity, the king of commodities, the king of hedges against the stock market, fell during the 2008 financial crisis. It pulled back 35% in 225 days. Right now, we are having the largest economic downturn since the Great Depression and the fastest economic downturn, which is a different metric, in the history of the United States economy. So why is gold rallying to all-time high? Well, obviously, it's because gold is a hedge and people want to be in gold because they trust gold more than the overinflated stock market, which we're about to get to. But that still begs the question, where is all of this investment money coming from in the first place? Because I can guarantee you it's not the stockbrokers, because they don't want to put money in gold because they don't make any commission. The money that's going into gold right now is going into gold from rich corporations and from rich individuals, not from the middle class. And the same can be said about the SPY, which is currently ridiculously sitting at all-time high. Mark my words, I'm making a prediction on this. This will pull back 25% at least in the next 12 months. And Tesla is sitting at $2,000 a share. Tesla's market capitalization is $400 billion. To put that into perspective, Tesla is more valuable today than Ford, Toyota, Nissan, and Chevrolet combined. Ask yourself a question really quickly. Why in the world is Tesla that valuable? Why in the world is gold this high? Why in the world is the stock market so incredibly disproportionately high? Why is the stock market rallying to all-time high when we are seeing the biggest hit to our global economy in the history of modern civilization? The only two things that I can think of that are comparable to the economic devastation that's going on globally right now are the Great Depression and the terrors that Europe saw during the Second World War. I will tell you why these companies and these industries are doing so well. They're doing so well because the Federal Reserve printed $7 trillion and is giving junk loans to junk lenders, to junk borrowers. And companies that should have gone bankrupt, they were over-leveraged, they were up to their eyes in debt, are now getting loans. Fortune 500 companies that have billions of dollars on the sideline, like Apple with $250 billion in cash reserves, are using their different departments and divisions to get Paycheck Protection loans like my small business got to keep us afloat. What does Apple need PPP loans for when they're sitting on $250 billion worth of cash? There is a bubble of biblical proportions right now, and quite frankly, it is absurd. We are printing money into oblivion. We've increased the national debt in the United States by over 25% in the last 6 months. And by the way, a lot of people, when I talk about United States statistics, they say, I'm not from the U.S., what does this matter to me? Where the United States goes economically, the rest of the world follows, because we, even today, are still the biggest market on the planet. So what happens here? I can go into all of the economics and rant on this for hours. But very, very simply, to wrap it all up in a nice, neat bow so that we can continue on to what this means for Bitcoin, the stock market is massively overinflated. The economy is in the gutter, and millions of people have lost their small businesses. They have closed up shop in the first wave of this during the first lockdowns, and then they reopened just barely on their feet, and then we closed down again, and they got annihilated. They're out of business, and these are successful people. These are young entrepreneurs like me. These are people that are A-type personalities. They're successful, they'll come back. Small business owners are some of the most resilient people that I've ever met in my life, and they will recover from this. But it will take time unnecessarily. What this does, however, mean, though, is that the U.S. economy, while being in the gutter, has the stock market rallying to all-time high, and Jerome Powell over at the Fed wants nothing more than to keep that jacked up. Don't think President Trump thinks anything else. He wants the stock market to be at all-time high also because it makes him look good for an upcoming election. The last thing anyone in Washington wants is the stock market to crash, which would actually be something healthy. So the point I'm making here is that the stock market is in a massive bubble, and it is not reflecting the economy right now. So don't get fooled by the stock market thinking the economy is in good shape. It is in terrible shape, and we haven't even seen the beginning of it. And what that means is that the bubble in the stock market is going to burst, and people that are trying to retire are going to get wrecked because they are going to still have their money in stocks. And when they go into retiring, they're going to try and pull money out of their IRA just to find that it's down 40% from where it was 5 months earlier. There will be a W formation in the stock market. Mark my words, I'm betting on it, because when it goes down, I'm going to buy a ton of it because it will recover. We will get out of this, and it will be okay. The point I'm making here is that we have not seen the end of the economic devastation, and we have most certainly not seen the end of this pandemic. So what does this mean for Bitcoin? Quite simply, this means two things for cryptocurrency. Number one, people are going to turn to Bitcoin and look for a store of value such as gold to put their money as a hedge against the markets. Right now, gold is seen as the ultimate hedge against the stock market. That is why it's at all-time high while the stock market is all-time high, because it would be silly to short the stock market because we don't know when this correction is going to start. But people do understand that it's not going to be able to go up forever, which is why they are investing in gold. Guess what is digital gold? Guess what is far more easier to deal with than gold? Bitcoin. Bitcoin will take the place of gold over the next 20 years, especially when I'm done with everything and we have our asteroid mining company set up and we flood the market with free gold. Gold is a great investment for the next 20 years, but eventually it'll become obsolete because of deep space mining. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies at large, on the other hand, that will not happen to, because even at the advent of quantum computing, there can be updates added to the blockchain to prevent it from becoming the end of Bitcoin or whatever. Bitcoin 50 years from now will be doing exactly what gold is doing right now in future economic downturns that we will see in those coming decades. Bitcoin will fulfill that role first, and then it might start to fulfill a global vision of digital payments. And on a side note, why do people invest in gold right now? Why do people invest in Bitcoin right now? Do they invest in Bitcoin right now to go and buy a Subway sandwich? No. The vast majority of us are to make money. And guess why people buy gold? To make money. To be a hedge against the market. Vast majority of us do not actually pay for things in Bitcoin. We try to because we love this little cultural revolution that we got going on here. But in general, the majority of the money going into the space, it would be irresponsible of us not to admit that it is based on hedge mentality against the traditional finance markets. Anyway, I'm off topic. The point I'm making here is that the global economy is in a bubble and is going to collapse. And it's going to be very, very bad. We are borrowing from the future, even 6, 12 months out, that kind of future. I'm not even talking about our kids. I'm talking about 2 years from now, we're borrowing from that future to prop up today, instead of letting all of these companies that were over-leveraged on debt and had no idea and no plans for anything like this before this happened. Instead of letting them file Chapter 11 bankruptcy, they have been bailed out, and then their books are going to get even worse, and then eventually they're going to not only go bankrupt, they're going to disappear and millions of jobs will vanish. Now, I want to clarify here. I'm not trying to spread FUD, but I am telling you the reality, and economists will agree with me on this. There is a massive amount of recourse coming for what we have done to try and prop up the economy. Would I have done any different? I have no idea. I'm 19. I don't know what I would have done. Don't even ask me the question, because I'll tell you right now, I don't know. But I can tell you that there are going to be side effects for what has happened. And I don't like saying that I'm not a fan of something that happened without having a way of doing it myself. But you know what? I'm not an expert. But I can tell you what the experts say. And the experts are telling me that big bad things are coming to the economy because of how we've handled this. So like I said, what does that mean for Bitcoin? Well, quite simply, Bitcoin is not going to be able to rally forever when people cannot pay for their basic necessities, because all of this government stimulus cannot go on forever. It's going to stop at some point. Either it does, or we go into so much debt that we have just destroyed our economic growth for the next 2 decades. The number of cars being sold right now is cut in half. The amount of travel was going up right until about the 4th of July, and then it's been going down ever since with the second wave that we're in. The amount of people that are keeping money very close to their chest and not doing anything with it in the economy. Remember when we talked about the velocity with which money is circulating in an economy? That's called M2. That has slowed down dramatically, which also means that the amount of money that people are investing is going to slow down dramatically. And that does mean there's going to be a little bit more difficulty with us finding new liquidity to prop up Bitcoin. We are going to go into a massive bull run. We are going to go to over 6 figures. But I want you to understand that Bitcoin is not in a bubble anymore. It used to be, but it's not anymore. Bitcoin does now start having feelers and attachments over to these other markets, primarily in the amount of money that can be invested in the space. Much of what affects traditional finance markets is not going to affect Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still a little bit detached from all of that. But as far as the actual inflows of valuation into this industry, that is very much going to be impacted by the economic problems that we are facing right now. So I want to make sure that you guys are not being overly bullish and FOMO-driven on Bitcoin, because I do think that Bitcoin is going to rally. I do think that Bitcoin is going to go back to all-time high. But I do not, however, believe that we are going to be trading at all-time high by the end of the year. I might be wrong on that. Maybe Bitcoin goes into a massive run like the rest of these markets do. That's very possible. If Bitcoin does the right thing, gets the right amount of news attention, the right news story breaks, something crazy happens, it is very much possible. But from where I'm sitting right now with the information that I have at hand on August the 20th, 2020, it does not look like that to me. And that's not a bad thing, because quite frankly, that gives us more time to accumulate. That gives us more time to get our own finances in order so that we can make sure that we are safe through the rest of this and that we are able to accumulate more Bitcoin. There's nothing wrong with it, guys. I want you to have patience. At the end of the day, that's the most important thing. And it's one of the primary things that we teach on this channel is patience. I need you guys having patience, having faith in the process. Do you believe in Bitcoin? If you do, then stay. It's that simple. Doesn't have to be that complicated. If you believe in Bitcoin, prove it by not leaving and by making sure that you are taking opportunities as you find them. Not waiting until the stock market's at all-time high to buy it. You should have bought it 4 months ago. Not waiting until Bitcoin's at all-time high because you should have bought it now, you know? So I want to make sure you guys are as well educated on this market as you possibly can be, and you understand the realities, because in cryptocurrency, this is something I aim to change. There are a lot of people that make their money on YouTube by having sensational headlines that are never going to come true. And that does you a disservice, because it means that you are not getting the most valuable information. So that's what we're striving to do, that we're striving to correct in this industry, because someone needs to do it. There's a lot of opportunity in crypto, and I don't want you to miss it. And that is why we created the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. As you guys saw in the intro, and I'll have Taylor throw them back up on screen here, there were several people in the comment section of yesterday's video talking about how much they enjoy CT2A and how much it has been helping them in their journey of understanding technical analysis. Guys, I want to make something very clear that we talked about in this video. Fundamental analysis and understanding the markets is remarkably important, but that does not do a disservice to the importance of technical analysis. Believe me, technical analysis is still in the top 3 most important things that you will ever learn about cryptocurrency. And that's saying a lot, because believe me, there is a lot to learn. Guys, CT2A is turning 2 years old in about a month. On September the 1st, the price of CT2A will be increasing another $50. So if you want to get in and start learning everything you need to know about technical analysis so you can take your next step moving into the future, I highly encourage you to take this course. Guys, I'm serious. We've had thousands of people go through CT2A now, and I'm getting awesome testimonies, reviews, and stories from people everywhere. Discord, Twitter, comment sections, emails, everywhere. We are always getting amazing, glowing reviews about this academy, and I want you to be able to have access to it. So guys, CT2A is linked in the description down below. 36 videos and over 12 hours of high-quality, well-edited, well-structured content based on my 3 years of experience working in these markets every single day. CT2A is designed to meet you where you are and give you value. Quite simply, if you're a noob to the space or you've been here for a while, you are going to get a lot of value out of CT2A. And the reason that I can promise you that is because we have crammed so much information into CT2A that we ought to be charging. Honestly, guys, I understand the courses market very well. It's what my business technically is. We should, based on industry standard, be charging $1,000 for this course. And believe me, we would make more money if we did. I don't want to do that, because I want to make sure as many people as possible, 1, can get access to it, and 2, can get as much value out of it as possible. We are undercharging by 3 or 4 times on CT2A. It's ridiculous, and we're doing it for your sake. So if you're interested in joining, use the coupon code August2020 at checkout, and you'll get $40 off. And like I've said in many videos before, guys, we do have a full 14-day money-back refund guarantee, and yes, by the way, we do accept Bitcoin payments. You can shoot us an email, and we will deal with that. In fact, that sign back there, you can't see it because of the camera bokeh, but it says Bitcoin accepted here. Anyway, guys, that is going to wrap it out for today's video. Before I go, though, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys